Hello and welcome back to the main channel. Last time we started construction on the city and we're about to finish, literally about to finish, our resource supply hub. Today we're basically gonna finish building the city because we have literally the bare minimum needs right now. Food and healthcare will not for long alone keep a city alive. So today we're going to tackle education, higher education, crime and justice, and let's call all of this free-time activities, which you will also need because you people can live in one of two ways. One is an old classic, death. The other one is a bit more specific, escapes. And because we don't have a lot of needs satisfied right now, we have a lot of escapes, meaning that if we can increase the happiness in those buildings, they will leave. And also something I did last video but didn't show, these houses are still empty because they were done way too early for the city. They would have filled up in the winter and that wouldn't have been good. So I'm gonna populate them manually, and I think I could just take the people from over here and move into here, but I'm gonna wait a little bit with that because, as I said, we need education, we need a lot of needs. So them being a bit longer empty and our city being supplied with the houses over here, which is absolutely enough right now, might be a good thing. Also something that happened since last video, I got 100 more hours in this game. A lot of time has passed for me since the last recording, and I got a lot better in the game.
Are you sure?
So I learned a lot of things, like here I don't need this because I can just use the forklift garage as a crossing. So I could have saved a lot of space just building it like this instead of over here with a crossing. Yeah, the things you learn in hindsight, amazing. Jokes aside, if you have like more advice for me, you can always put it in the comments. You can always go in my Discord DMs. I appreciate it. I love to learn more and more about this game, and it's a journey for both of us because I can teach new players the basics and advanced players teach me more of the advanced stuff. And through these videos, we will both kind of grow with the knowledge of our game in a more natural way. And I think that's kind of cool about the series because I don't have this with Hoi 4 on my other channel because I already had like thousands of hours in this game. With this game, I'm kind of still new, but I really love it, and I think there's not enough content about it, so I'm doing my part. Anyways, while I'm yapping, come on, over here, you finish this now. Yeah, railway finished. Problem being, this is not electrified, and we want to use an electric locomotive. So, we have the big mission now to electrify the entire railway, and I'm just gonna do it like this. And why do I do it just now? It's because building electrified railways over normal ones is way faster than building both in one go. Also, this way you could already use the railway before if you want to move stuff around, but yeah, generally in my opinion, laying out the railway and then electrifying it is just way faster. Later on you can just do it in one go because you have more workers, like you have a lot of workers in here now, but for the beginning this is really nice to do it like that. What I will do is a parallel railway over here. This might look a bit horrible, but long term I think this is a good solution to the entire railway situation, so I'm gonna do that. Build my construction vehicles, and yeah, look how fast this is, while the other one is way behind building the new railway. But we have a lot of workers now, so there's actually quite a bit of workers on this construction side over here, which I do really appreciate. And we have a few months now, we're in March, and I think starting November it will become very critical to get our heat plant running, but I'm very optimistic that we can electrify the railway before that becomes a problem. Then we can just get the coal automatically into the heating plant via the storage and deliver it via railway, because doing it via trucks now would take a very long time, and I would rather not do that. Also, this can be asphalt now. I'm fine with that. In the background, because it's very important in this game, even though I try to avoid it, to do a lot of things at the same time. So while this is being built, I'm gonna pause and we're gonna talk first, which I think is very important for a city, children, which I would call education. By the way, in the meantime, the DLC is released, so there's all of these DLC buildings now, and I gotta say they look really cool, but I think for the spirit of this video I'm still gonna avoid them, and I'm gonna act like the DLC didn't happen yet, and we're gonna finish this with the base game buildings, just because not everyone might have the DLC. Plus, to learn the game, not doing the DLC stuff yet is probably a good idea, because the earlier start date in realistic mode, now that I did 2 streams about it and more to come, it is harder. And I will make a video series about that after this one, but I want to learn way more about it and I want to be more prepared. So there will be more content about this game in the future on this channel, but for my own sanity, I will also allow myself different games, because my other channel is very much Hoi 4 focused. Here a little bit more of a creative outlet. I just have a lot of appreciation for this game. I know I said it 1,000 times. I want you to understand this is the main reason why I do this, and I don't want to burn out on that. I don't know. We will see. Anyways, kindergarten over here seems actually pretty good because it kind of surrounds the entire living situation over here, because we will grow our city around this bus platform here. Then here we might have some space for a school, once again under state infrastructure, and I think over here this school is enough. Yeah, it just barely doesn't fit in. That would have been such a cool use of the space. It doesn't matter. How about we go overkill again, build a big school over here, then we literally don't need to build a school for quite a while. And also very important for education, a university. And I'm gonna build the big technical university, firstly because we need need a lot of people to be educated. And secondly, it is our most important research for money making, the refining research. Connecting it all via pathways, not forgetting trash. I think we can just use gravel here because building like very short asphalt walk paths is bad. Takes forever. As for culture, I'm just gonna build a cinema over here. And as for sports, I'm just gonna build a sports hall over here. Basically satisfying the need for culture enjoyment and sports enjoyment. Now we're only missing criminality and yeah, you can do that to increase the happiness, but it does have its downsides. I'm also gonna extend the city with those 2 house blocks over here. And yeah, what I will do now is just gradually grow the city a little bit. And once the buildings are built, I'm gonna explain them a bit more in detail, why I build them there, what they exactly do, and why they are important. But I think if I explain in detail every single building decision I do, it will become a little bit repetitive very fast, and the progress per episode will be very minimal. And I really want to go to money making very soon, because a lot of you are probably very interested in how to do that successfully, because that will break your neck if you don't make a good income in this game. At the beginning, funnily enough, for pro players, it's not the main priority to immediately make money. It's more about getting infrastructure up and building your first city. But to feel more comfortable about your city / republic, having a good income source early on is pretty important. With the starter money I gave myself, and then I also recommend for every new player to kind of play around with realistic mode, this is not as important and not as pressing. I mean, we didn't even need to go into loans, which, by the way, is a thing. You can take loans, and I mean, they're quite generous. 5 years is a long time period in this game. But yeah, we will go to that latest next episode. But I hope we can start this one. So, as I said, I'm just going to grow the city. Once it's built, explain why, and then we shall talk about it. But yeah, I will still commentate when I build something really important or a new building block. The how will be less important right now, though. Anyways, because I saw this, once again, a thing I learned, and I'm kind of angry I didn't know before. Allow the repair cancel when lock ideal. Disallowed it. That is a horrible standard setting, and it will mean that a lot of our vehicles will probably break down when we didn't have workers to repair vehicles, because they will go in, wait a little bit, feel ignored, and then leave. And then you have like a hard lock of 1 year before they can go repair again. Meaning there is a truck over here, like this is a good example, 55% wear and tear, but I can't repair it because its last repair was 8 months and 18 days ago. So I have to wait around like 3.5 more months before I can repair this vehicle again. Just as advice, disallow that. One below is very good, but this one is nah. Also, you see our railway is quite far ahead and been electrified. We're already nearly next to the railway electric connection, which should connect this railway to our power lines. Because you see right now there's like this symbol here for, hey, I have no power. That will go away once we're connected to this here, which is connected to our electricity, which is connected to the border where we get our electricity from. Yeah, I will not go into detail with that. Just watch the first episode where I basically prove that I have no idea what I'm talking about in terms of electricity, and get ratioed in the comments later. I know I'm making fun about that. I think I apologize too much in my videos, that a lot of you think that I get a lot of mean comments. I don't. I really don't. I just try to explain more what I do and why, because I think a lot of people are confused what is the goal of the series, including me. And I want to set a goal for it, that we all have the same idea of what this is about, right? I mean, there's the average amount of mean comments in YouTube, but the community of this game so far has been absolutely kind to me, very helping, and most of the things are just general questions if I didn't know it yet. I appreciate it, really. Like, that's why I say it every video. I appreciate it. Please help me more. I want to learn this game to the best of my knowledge, and then teach it further to you, the viewer, you beautiful person. So I also built adjudication here, meaning a police station and a courthouse. And I know it's a little bit overkill, but having the big one right now, as I said, is a good permanent solution, especially in the form of the courthouse, because if you all have one courthouse, you can supply the entire map, and the police stations are more of your local authorities catching the thugs. Once again, once this is built, I will show you in detail how this works. The last thing missing is a good prison, and I'm gonna build this kinda close to the city, but a little bit more far out, because I want my workers to reach this, but at the same time, I don't want it to be close to the city. So I would say maybe here is... Actually, I want to have the railway through here. That is... let me redo this. Here. Yes. And it's even range of this house here, so people could work there. But I will extend the city to here, so there will be more houses close by at some point. Problem, this is in range of nothing, really. I guess just electricity. Yeah. So we need to build new heating and new piping. I already started a little bit on new heating over here, because having that much big buildings will probably overwhelm our city a little bit. So let me continue that. Something I also learned in situations like this, where the things don't really connect, you can also use the merge tool from here, connect two pieces to connect the pipe. So you don't even need my trick from the video before, because someone wrote me this works, and yeah, it does. It's beautiful. This is actually working very well. Let's construct this pipe, and yeah, this is just one pipe now. That is generally really good. Thank you for letting me know. So I built the piping, meaning sewage is covered and water is covered too. Just added another pump because we're running out of connection ports with this one. And heating over here. The only thing missing is that I need to connect this to the heat pumping station over here. And you might notice I try to go through over here. I don't know if I said this, but you can a little bit cheese how you can get through certain things. Let me show it off over here where I need to go through another pipe that I already planned. And the best way to do that is get really close to the pipe, over it. Now I'm basically through the pipe at the same height. It's a little bit cheesy, but it saves you a little bit of material. And oh no, this pipe is slightly too long. Let me see if I can fix this. Nope, this pipe is too long. I mean, nothing has been delivered here yet, so we can just cancel the construction here. The new pumping station over here. Temporarily extend this as a dirt road and connect everything to the closer pumping station. And yeah, knowing that I can just connect these pipes is a very good knowledge. Phasing through the pipe, connecting it down here, merging the pipes to see that it's actually connected. Go over here, see if we can connect this now. Yep, we can. And bam, heating extended. Generally gonna give this very high priority because no heating, pretty bad. It's pretty game ending. I mean, we have a lot of money, we have a lot of different populations, so we can get people from all over the map. But I gotta be honest, it is very infuriating if you have like an actual realistic run where you work with very little money and you lose all of your population. Most importantly, losing your highly educated people, which don't exist that much on the map, hurts a lot. Like, if I would get people via rubles, you see, for 5 highly educated immigrants, I would pay 8,348 rubles. While for 10 quote-unquote normally educated immigrants, it's 6,678. They are very expensive. I mean, we could also just get people from the third world, but I don't recommend that, especially when you don't have a good education system, because those people will come mostly uneducated, and that means they will spend quite some time in your schooling system before they can become workers. Because without an education, people can't work in this game. I didn't go into this yet, but a little bit of an education rant. If they generally have no education, they can't work. They need to have the basic education, and for some jobs, university education. That is something you might not think about if you're new to the game, but education is actually crucial for your workforce. That's why I ignored it for a little bit, but over time, people would get kids, and those kids wouldn't have an education, meaning that slowly I would turn my population into people I can't use anymore that couldn't even work in the shopping center. So they would just die because they couldn't buy goods from the shopping center. It's a very interesting death loop that exists in the game, but don't underestimate education. I think if you're like a mid-tier player like I am, education will catch you off guard more than you think. You know, you underestimate it and then it bites you in the arse. It is what it is. Also, something I did learn since last game is this over here, a bus end station. And yeah, I genuinely didn't know before this existed. Very weird knowledge gap, but this is actually genuinely important for timing your bus routes. I think I'm gonna build it over here next to my repair station, meaning that I need to reroute these buses here to the other bus station, and finally get rid of the free bus station. And I can't fit this in here. This would have been so useful though. Exactly here, because then it would be in the area of the repair station. The small one maybe? Oh, the small one does. This will probably get me some trouble because there's a lot of bus routes we will have, but at least it fits, so I'm gonna put it here. Good luck. At least for the longer bus routes to our crucial buildings, this is gonna be good. The sewage plant over here is not that much important because you do have like a buffer zone of sewage, so you can wait for workers a little bit. On the other hand, heating immediately basically dies off. So if they stop working, no heat. And because I just noticed it, the electricity is mostly done. So we can definitely get our electric locomotive to our train depot and let it be repaired. Look at this beautiful train. I mean, also now existing are these trains. Actually also very cool. Not gonna lie. They added steam locomotives with the last DLC. I love it. But for now, I'm gonna stay on the path of, and I really have to fight myself because I really love steam locomotives. But yeah, I will stay with the electric rail because, I mean, it's just very efficient and I'm not allowed to do DLC stuff yet. But for that, we have to stream. So join the streams. Teach me the game or learn the game in the stream. I do apologize. It's a 4-hour video essay of me having a mental breakdown about learning new things about the game. But if you're into that, check it out. If you're not, give me $5 and say that you hate me. I don't know. Just I'll survive it. As for other locomotive, I think I'm gonna get our wagons from the storage. And it does need to refuel now. So it will go to the diesel refuel station. Fill up. Now go to the depot, get the wagons, and go back to the train depot. If you want to know how I did that, it's quite easy. Once again, firstly, you click on the custom house, select that you want to pick up trains, and then click again on the train depot, where it says nothing, but that doesn't matter. And then just click start. Then it will once go out, pick up as many wagons or whatever you ordered there on railway, put it behind itself, and once it's filled up all the way inside of the custom house, it will drive back. And then you just have to click launch as many times as you want the train to do that. Oh yeah, or like it wasn't conflict with stop kissing the train construction. But yeah, no more wagons here. Goes back empty. Very good. Meaning we can build our train. Our locomotive is repaired. Can we also repair this one again? Not yet. Actually, it's not done being repaired, even though the wear and tear is at 0. So I'm just gonna let them finish and then build the train. What I just remembered, by the way, is that we don't need this anymore. We can put this back to 100 workers or whatever maximum you want. And to allow people to work on construction sites again, a cheeky trick I found out myself is you click here, you see max numbers of workers outside of the construction office, 0. Click here, confirm it again, because here you can customize the value you want working here. And once you basically reset that, it goes back to the full amount. Very useful, because now the people in the area can work on that building, and it will make it quite a bit faster to construct the city, especially if you populate these houses here, which you will do very soon, and using your own workers to basically build the neighborhood instead of the construction offices being the sole supplier of people. And you already see a lot of people are going in here now to help with the construction. It makes it so much faster. It is very dangerous if you don't have the base needs supplied yet, but now that we do, mostly, it might be a bit dangerous for these people back here, but if I move them into here, it shouldn't be a problem anymore. Yeah, I'm just gonna move them over here with this tool over here, relocate 10 citizens, and I'm gonna click them into our houses that are in range of our supermarket, and then they shouldn't starve, which I kind of felt like they did right now. Yeah, some of those people have been supplied without needs, and that's why we had the population drop, but back here it should be fine. Yeah, it is. It's just those houses that are in range of our city, but not in range of our shopping center. So moving them here actually fixed that problem, and kind of happy now that I didn't fill up these houses yet, because now I could just easily do that. No one needed to die. Everyone is, I wouldn't say happy. They are alive though, okay? That's important. As for the train now being repaired, let's drag and drop our supply train. Firstly, I'm gonna drop in, just because I like it that way, our gravel and coal wagons, then the open hulls, and I like to move it here between the locomotive and the wagon, because if you always put it at the end, at some point, it becomes really hard because, you know, the train becomes too long. So dropping it here makes it very easy to customize this without going left and right. And yes, this is mostly for the aesthetics. And now the lowest hulls. Later on, we will have a train distribution office, but for now, a long train with specific wagons for everything is the best way to do this. And to configure that, you just click on Advanced Setup, and here you can select what this specific wagon should carry. Because important to know, also for trucks, they can only carry one thing at a time. So what we want is chemicals, fabrics, alcohol, food, clothes, electronics, mechanical components, plastic. Oh, now electronics. This was electro components. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I want to have 2 extra wagons. You know what? I can fill them up with food again and with clothing, because that is actually quite important. For the open hulls, I would say twice steel, because steel is important. 1 aluminum or aluminium, 1 prefab panels, 1 bricks, and 1 boards. And for the dumpers, 2 gravel and 2 coal. And be careful here that you select coal and not coal ore, because coal ore is not coal. Okay, that needs to be refined in the refining plant. That's what you get out of the mine. No, you want coal. I'm not saying that because it happened to me once. I'm just saying it, okay? Don't think about it. And yeah, that's basically our train setup. I'm just gonna say, yo, train, go over here. Scrolling down to see that. Load whatever you want, which is everything. That's gonna be very expensive. And I guess we could unload trash. Oh, we don't have any wagons for that. We could get wagons for that, though. Trash. Forgot that we had that set up. That's how long it had been. Here, waste. We could get 2 wagons for waste. Our diesel locomotive is still set up to just pick it up, so do that. Yeah, but those are one at the end of the train, and now you see why this is a bit of pain, because you just have to go back and then drop them. But yeah, here we go. Last 2 wagons, mixed waste and mixed waste. Cool. Now we have to customize this a little bit. Pick all of those things up and drop mixed waste, and go here where you can pick up mixed waste. Go over here where you can just unload into all of these storages. Over here, unload again, and over here, unload again. And then basically starts from a new, meaning goes to the customers, loads, unloads, loads trash, unloads everything over here, continues, unloads coal, continues, unloads gravel, and that's that setup. Now all we have to do is say go forth, and it will do that. Our enormously long train, because this is gonna be like a way too long train for this. But yeah, this is our enormous train rolling out. What I would like to do right now is build this and then talk about something quite important for more advanced railway construction: signals. Because right now we have 1 train going around, which is no problem for any signals. But if you want to have more advanced railway, you will need signals. So I would rather talk about that earlier than later. And especially later on, by the way. Why is there like trucks broken down here? And then the 100% variant. I'll just go into storage here and be repaired. But yeah, for later in the game, I would like to have a train station in our city and then go over the Danube and load them off over here where we will have our refining. Or maybe even over here, because having refining closer to the border might actually be a good thing because of pipelines. I will decide that once we're there. But for now, just know that's generally my planning. for future episodes, for this episode. Some people ask me for more specific stuff, like will I build trams in this playthrough? I will probably have to say no, just because we don't have enough time. As a plan right now, there's gonna be like 5 episodes to keep it kind of compact as a not too long video series, where I want to explain everything from how to start the game on how to make money, and then later on I will go into more harder challenges for newer playthroughs. We maybe can go on longer, but if you want to see longer playthroughs, I literally just recommend the streams, because there I will just pick up and play whenever. For these types of videos, I want to have a starting goal and an end goal, and I think all good things can come to an end at a certain point, so this will not go on forever. I'm sorry. But I want to show off how to get this running, so we'll definitely take the time for that. Yeah, in old fashion of this playthrough, a new building has burned down in Vienna. Yeah, I would say let's build a fire station closer to our city, because I think this fire station over here is too much out of range to really take care of us. So I think I can't avoid doing this now. Otherwise, I'll have a problem. And yeah, over here, you now see our train very much fill up with all the goods we wanted, except mechanical components. Somewhere in all of this, I always saw mechanical components. Okay, I'm gonna take this from clothing to mechanical components. Yeah, once that is fixed, this train should just be fine and fix a lot of our cargo problems. Also, very expensive to fill up this train, so this solution is quite the expensive one, but can also be kinda nice. Now it goes over here, fills up our storages to the brim, which are already very much filled up thanks to our distribution offices. But that also means we kinda don't need our distribution offices anymore to fill up this, and maybe even use it as a source. So what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna take away the custom house over here and set these storages over here from unload to load. Meaning instead of loading off the goods here, they will load the goods from here and copy that to the other distribution office. What I didn't talk about so far is that in the latest DLC, and I imagine also in the free patch of that, they fixed the custom houses, meaning that you will have way less traffic problems over here now, because vehicles drive in and then drive out at the back, meaning a lot of vehicles can drive in at the same time, which is very cool and made a little bit the entire expense of building this railway distribution over here obsolete. On the other hand, I like trains, so I'm still happy to have it. And it kind of takes in mind at least that you have an automated railway that just is generally long-term cheaper to run, because electricity is way cheaper than fuel. Getting all of the goods you need, and also not having distribution offices researched yet, means that those are quite valuable to place down, because as I said in early episodes, we can only place a limited amount of them, and we're already at the cap. So what I could do now, if I need another one, is delete one of those, because the supply is way closer, meaning we only need one now. Plus, instead of unloading all of this and fill it up, they can just load here, which also very much reduces the demand. So yeah, I can just take back this distribution office over here or let it do something else, and that is also quite valuable. TLDR, this over here has become less important to do, but if you want to do it, it does still help. So the kindergarten and the school have finished construction. We can now look into them and see that we have normal staff and teachers supplying classroom space where our students will go in and fill up their education level. In the school, they will reach all the way to education level 1, which still takes a while, so they have to come here multiple times, meaning there will be educated workers, meaning they can generally work instead of doing nothing. But you might notice our main problem right now is that we don't have enough teachers, and that means we don't have enough classroom space for all of the students we have, or potential students, because it's not just children here, that's also people that don't have an education. Yeah, the kindergarten is fine because we don't need high education here. It basically allows people with kids to also go work, which makes this building also very important, but less hard to fill. And with that, I mean the staff, because normal education here, high education here. Quite a big bottleneck. What I would say to kind of fix that is that I get some of those people moved over here. Then I'm gonna scavenge Austria for basically high educated people. Like over here are 7. I'm gonna pin that. Over here are 5. Over here are 4. And over here are 6. And that's basically the free version of buying high educated people. Just moving them closer to your school, allowing us to educate a new generation of people. Also might need some housing for the university, so I'm just gonna build a road here and place this house here. But that should show you how important a university is. Not just for researching, which is also very important for, but also teachers. Because if you don't have teachers, you will not get any working people, because they will not get basic education. So TLDR, you need high education to get people into basic education, which we did kind of fix now. The classrooms are not at capacity yet. I mean, it will always go up and down because workers are a little bit unreliable in this game, you know, but there's someone writing in the comments right now, like real teachers, and you're a bad person, you know it. But overall, yeah, this can really break your neck. Be careful about education. It is very important. And if you have a problem like this, where this strip is not being built, just put it to higher priority, because sometimes those small bits of connection here are not being built because the construction offices like to prioritize everything everything else. And I really hate those small connections to some things. Yeah, just put it on high priority. They will just build it really quick because there's not a lot of effort in building that. And then build the building afterwards immediately. And right now I really need garbage collection here because the school is filling up way too fast for my garbage trucks. I think I didn't explain this in the last video, but you build those garbage collection points here basically as a space where your people can load off their trash, meaning it's a little bit of a buffer. And instead of going to every house one by one, your garbage truck can go to this garbage collection place and just take it from here and ship it off map. But in our case, we could actually ship our garbage now, the mixed waste, to our dump. So these are quite important, otherwise your infrastructure will be overwhelmed. And there's a bigger debate about big and small ones. The very short version of that is that the small ones are for your city buildings and the big ones are for your industry buildings. If you click on the buildings, it will tell you below what type of garbage it is. Down here you see this like big garbage container. But if you keep in mind that this is mostly industry and this is mostly city, you should be on the safe side. As I said, I don't want to confuse you too much, but I want to scratch it once so you've heard it, and now we don't need to talk about it again for a while. And I just remember I can give my demolition office also the order to load off at the dump. And I think I'm gonna be risky. I'm gonna finally allow the demolition and reconstruction of the Nature History Museum, because our demolition office has nothing to do right now anyway, so let's do that in the background. And some of you are still very, very sad about this happening over here. I guess this is our city's, how can I call this, 7-Eleven. So yeah, I just don't want to say certain things on YouTube, okay? I'm already playing a communist game, don't want to get demonetized for no reason. I also nearly forgot that I set my workers to 0 in the heating plan, and we are in August, so maybe we should allow workers here now. Might be dangerous not to do. Also, our heating pipes have been set up, plus this here is working, and this has also been built. Yeah, I think our heating infrastructure, I guess mostly, has been built, so we shouldn't freeze.
Are you sure?
In that moment, I get the notification, stop production. Oh, that is so good. But yeah, this will be way better once we have our bus end station, which basically exists for regulating your bus flow. What it exactly means, you will see in a second. But it's very nice. Because you also have the setting over here for line spacing. But trust me when I say this is a bad setting. You know what? They're using this road a lot. So I'm going to pull it and turn it into asphalt. But I have to use the highway now. Screw you. Yeah, it takes so long to pick up all of the trash. One truck can hold 6.5 and there's 571. Still. I love that. That was such a good thing to burn down. And yeah, look at that. The bus end station is done. Just have to find one bus. And there we have one to the city. Very good. I will, at the end of the bus line over here via the new line details on the bus, at after the last station, which means I click on the last station, then new stop, and then the bus end station, meaning they will now go here, pick everyone up over here, row them out, and wipe for a little bit, where they can get repaired thanks to being in a range of our repair station. And if I set this up correctly, also be fueled up, because this bus end station also has fuel for an oil tank. I'll keep it at variable time because that kind of worked very well for me. And yeah, that should be that. Basically, this station will now try to have a constant time between buses arriving, and it's gonna be perfect. Also, finally stop the buses that got workers from the border. And if you want to know how to do that, you can always, as I just did before, view the line details and see what buses are on the line, and then just, you know, select them and put them to the depot. So they're all just over here. They can be repaired in 4 months, and you in 5 months. Yeah, this setting is really annoying. Really turn this off. I've learned so much since the last recording. It is generally like 100 of hours in the game. I can't share it all at the same time though. It would be not cool. But some of the stupid mistakes I did make, I do want to kind of rectify. They're not game breaking. They will not ruin the experience, but they are quite inefficient in the approach. So I kind of want to reorganize that in how I said it in this series. As I said, this still totally works completely fine, but doing it like this is just more space efficient, right? Like everything I taught you so far works perfectly fine. It's just the optimization of things I'm getting a lot better at. Do ignore that once the hospital opened, some people died because there's like literally a little area between the range of the hospital and the range of the supermarket where people just don't get to live. So you have like this area here where like 3 houses are completely empty now because they're in the range of the hospital. Okay, it's 4 houses, but not in the range of the supermarket. It is kind of funny and crazy at the same time. I'm gonna, whoever survived, evacuate to a more safe space. So flatten the area a bit more over here because I do want to tackle the trains now. I would say I'm gonna build, even though there's a very beautiful new train stations here, but as I said, I don't want to use DLC buildings this time. This over here, which is a perfectly fine train station, and kind of put it into the middle of our city where a lot of houses can reach it. Extend the road a little bit and then do this and connect this over here with our existing railway over here and let it be built in the background, giving our railway construction office something to do. I think to make this a bit more beautiful, I'm gonna do the thing again where I'm gonna raise the levels over here and over here. Build a electrified truss bridge. And does that look decent? Yeah, I think that's good enough. If I would be a ship, I could go through here. That's okay. And did the same thing we did with the highway. And I would say that is fine. And connect it over here like this. Merging some of those building projects. Yeah, I would say I'm pretty happy with this. Allowing our railway to go over here and then later on connect it to somewhere else here where there will be the offloading station. But the more important part is that we start construction on the bridge now, because the bridge can take quite a while to build. And for railway, you always want it to be built in the background. So that time with this is not good. Could actually need more workers. You know what? Those buses over here that got the workers from outside the map, you also get the end station now. So you have a little bit of a pause in between and time yourself better and roll out. And you see this bus over here right now is chilling because it's waiting for the interval. And now it's continuing. Very good. And another house is burning. There's nothing I can do. The fire station over here hasn't been built in. You know what? I'm going to improve the priority of that. And the temperature is too low. That is actually dangerous. Why is the temperature too low? The heat plant does not have enough workers, I think. Let me check the map mode. It is, yeah, it's like 5 degrees too low. Like, I think 15 is like safe, but everything below is kind of endangering. The hospital is not overwhelmed yet, so it's not deadly, but we definitely need more people here. And yeah, now we got that. Just shows that heating can be dangerous, no matter what, and it's always worth to kind of check that. Right now, the main problem is, I think, a combination of not enough people working, and now this is actually constructed. Okay, then it's literally just people. So what I will do now, I will say where citizens should go, 50% heating plant, 50% everything else, meaning that 50% of the people that get out here go to the heating plant and work there, because if they don't do that, there will be no people to work anywhere. Also, I have a problem with drinking water, and I tend to solve it with this over here, a technical service. I mean, I could also lay a pipe over here, but it would be a very... We could do this in the long term. But short term, it's a little bit of an overkill solution. Pumping station here, maybe even over here if you want to diversify it into the rest of the city. This will take some time to be built, but it's a permanent solution. Sewage will be a bit harder to do via here because we have to go under the river, which we still could do with a sewage pump, and we'll probably have to do later, but it is quite a pain in the arse, I have to say that. Going under river with sewage pipes, try to avoid it. Long game, maybe have a sewage treatment plant here, have a sewage treatment plant on this side, and then go to there, but like other than then, it can be annoying. But yeah, the plant is full of workers. The city is warm. I mean, except the construction sites, which are, I mean, 20 is still warm, but you don't really have heating, just so you know. It's just always show 20. Most importantly are that all our buildings tend to be on 24 degrees Celsius. I'm gonna order half of these people here to go to the bus station and the other half to work in other buildings. So you have this here for other buildings and you have this here for specific buildings. Sometimes I like to use a combination of that to get a few people from one house into a specific thing. You should try to avoid that, but for some essential buildings like shopping centers or bus stations, it's kind of nice to force people to go there to fill up some quite essential jobs like heating, like food distribution, like healthcare, or stuff like education. Okay, I think I personally underestimate how important drinking water is for heating, because now we have no drinking water, and the city is stretched very thin in its heating capabilities. And the hospital is still fine, but we need to fight. Like, I'm very happy I built this pipe now. I said it's overkill. I take it back. That is very necessary. Let's high priority this, because the completely filled heating plant just completely loses its ability to heat in that moment, and that is bad. Why are you all building on the prison? There's more important things. Stop that. They really want to get that gulag up, I tell you. Like, we need the president. We'll fix everything. I promise. No, we need other things. We need warm. So, the Natural History Museum has been finally deconstructed, you could say. Very important, it doesn't automatically select your construction offices. So if you want to start construction on this, you have to select them again. I won't do that right now, because my main priority is on saving my citizens, which is really not working right now, because I absolutely underestimated the importance of drinking water in heating. At full capacity, my city, okay, it's finally warm because the temperatures are better, but we had minus 14 degrees partially in this winter, and that killed off so many people because it couldn't handle it. Meaning our hospital was full, a lot of people died, and I think I have to take a lot of people from here, repopulate the city a little bit, and finish that water pump like yesterday. Thank you, Vienna, for your contribution. But please finish this. This is already a high priority, and it takes so long to build it. Oh no, it says heating problem again. How much? Okay, not horrible heating problem. 16 degrees are fine, I hope. But that's why the old city houses are a bit better than the new ones at the beginning, because they don't need heating. If they're too cold, they just heat themselves. While in our houses, the people just die. So these will survive the winter, mostly. The only places they could really die is at the workplaces, which, you know, still inflicts death on them. But at home, they're mostly safe. But yeah, we're so close to finishing it. Come on, get a bus full of people and this is done. Please. It is done. Without drinking water, what do you mean? Oh, the pump over here isn't. No, not the pump. But yeah, jokes aside, winter is over, so heating is not a problem anymore. We are safe for next winter, though. We know the heat plant can handle the city. The problem is it can't handle it without water, so yeah. Also, the pipe Firewatch over here is done, so I'm gonna buy fire trucks, and that should be working now. Our storage is also a bit low, meaning that our food is not really catching up. You know what? I'm just gonna use this distribution office over here to also do that. Let me moment I save we have. No, not the big construction office. No. Good, saved. But yeah, I'm just gonna use this distribution office over here to help. Those 2 trucks are not needed for that. I'm gonna get myself 1 more covered hull and a refrigerated truck. They're just all in each other's way here. I changed how these roads work. Basically, I made them one way so they can overtake them, meaning they can go this way, they can go down here, they can go here, they can go up here. Should fix that problem. Finally, also, our technical university is done with no professors, so I think I have to import some educated people. I'm not gonna get around to it. I'm gonna use this building over there for that. But its mission is going to be to research for us the technologies, fuel processing studies, and bitumen production study to get refinery design and construction so we can build a refinery. And why do I want to use a refinery to make money? You might ask yourself, because I haven't really answered it yet directly. It is 2 reasons. Firstly, we already produce a lot of oil, and turning that into something more worth, which is fuel and bitumen, is profitable. Plus, even if we import oil and we don't have access to oil directly in our nation, refining it makes our second greatest cost factor, which is fuel, way cheaper, and it greatly increases the worth of the oil we import. Even when you calculate in the tons lost in processing the good, because you will need more oil than what you get out in fuel and bitumen. So it's not a 1-to-1 ton calculation. There's a little bit of a difference there. Maybe you can show the calculation on screen now. But overall, it's very profitable. Having our own oil just makes it even more profitable. It really does. And yeah, finally, our water pump is there and we pump water over here. Now switch is overflowing, but you know what? This is done over here too, meaning I will give this, one of this, one of this. Water is solved now, so I'm gonna do 2 waste trucks. Everything over here except mixed waste goes into here, and water you will get from here, and sewage you put here. Good. Building is on fire, but we finally have our own fire station done here, so that's no more problem. Finally, oh my god. I think we don't even need that much firefighters. Let me reduce it to 27. Good enough. Let's hope the hospital never burns. Also gonna split up the workforce now in this building to go half into the university and the other half over here, because we really need some people working in a university. But overall, our population should be way happier now, because the cinema is done, supplying them with culture. The sports hall is done, supplying them with sport, kind of, I don't know, like sport enjoyments. Yeah, that's what it's called. And it should increase their happiness immensely. Now, last important thing that you can always put in every city, propaganda. Let's build some nice statues of Mr. Lenin, because apparently that makes people more productive. Jokes aside, they have a huge impact on productivity, and I never really built them in my early stages of the game. Turns out, productivity makes a huge difference in how efficient people are, and having some loyalty through the statues is quite important. So I'm gonna build a few everywhere, even though they're not the most efficient, because we don't have big statues researched yet. But, you know, if it helps, it helps. Actually, I reorganized this a little bit. I got more educated people into this housing and said, hey, you go 100% into the university. And I ordered more of these houses over here to go into the bus station. So that should actually have a big impact on studying. Plus, we also might need some teachers. So I might even say, hey, a third of you goes into the school and 2/3 go into the university, splitting off the educated people into 2 different buildings. And yeah, that has a great impact, because we do need basic education, and then on top of that we need higher education. So fulfilling both is quite important, and it is a little bit of wasted money to import educated people, but at this stage, especially at the beginning, I think people can forgive you for doing it, especially if you allow yourself to have a bit more money. It is fine. Mistakes are here to be made, and a bit of a buffer there might forgive you. So the police station is also done. Once again, a job that needs high educated people to work. So yeah, don't underestimate higher education. I'm gonna get myself, for the beginning, 4 police cars, because I don't want to fill it up all the way. That could just overload the investigations, and what that means, I might show off unwillingly in a later video, probably. But what I'm actually not too sure about is how passenger seats influence how the car works. Maybe you can get more police officers on site. I don't actually know. Just notice this is not connected to the how game. But yeah, this will start working now. The problem is to really function, we need a courthouse and a prison. We have a prison though, that is good. Gotta offload goods into that. And yeah, the first few cases are appearing. I might genuinely force some people to work here, because a lot of people like to work in a prison for some reason. This is so full, but ignore some other important jobs. Yeah, you see, these are stacking up, but because we have no police officers, they're not being investigated, which is a problem. Yeah, we have a little bit of a brain drain at the moment, which we need to combat. The solution is more houses, buy some workers with college degrees, which is expensive, but in the short term, very important, and then really invest into higher education. This is why we have the big university. It will split between educating people and research. So if you research, be careful that you will split your efforts in 2 different camps. By default, half of the professors work in research and half educate, but there is actually a strat. If you don't need to rush certain tax to just chill a little bit and educate people first and then research, at least in my experience. But for us, we really need that research. We're already very behind. I started everything fairly late to have more of a chill playthrough where I can show you everything, how what works. Problem being now is I don't want to stall this any longer and kind of push this through with force. But yeah, for now we have enough police officers, so those are being investigated. The problem is we just don't have the courthouse yet. So I'm gonna actually just prioritize these workers going to the courthouse, build that, because you can't tell your workers just work in this construction site, if it's connected of course. And now that this is done, all the cases going to the courthouse. I'm also gonna tell his house also work here because I've got some educated people here, and that should be that. The prison is okay, there's way less people here now, but enough for what should come in. I just built a big prison for having a final solution. What I also learned is that those dates here are way too long, so I'm gonna set like half a year for minor crimes, 1.2 for medium, or 1 for medium, and 2 for serious crimes. The problem is if those people stay in prison, they will eat resources for free. I mean, I did learn the other day that you can use prison buses to send them into mines or other rough industries like that, but it's not really worth it. Having people in a prison for a long term is, yeah, maybe good for re-educating them over here, but generally not very nice. So shorter dates could be good here. But yeah, police station, not overfilmed, completely fine. Courthouse, doing the cases in good time. People going to prison. Prison being fairly secure. And yeah, you can't really get this to 100%. But yeah, this is working. That is basically how you do your security in the city. A bit overkill, once again, but I like to show it off on a big scale. People do crime. Police stations, with the help of police cars, investigate those crimes. And basically the amount of police cars allow you to how many crimes at the same time can be investigated. So they can work one after another instead of all at the same time. Gets a lot of people in the early game. Can be very hurting. Now you know. Courthouse, redo your sentences. The base sentences are a bit too overkill. I mean, you could do a playthrough where do a lot of prison work, but aside from that, don't do that. And for the prison, just supply it with goods, and I don't really care too much about the education there. Just be sure that you have basic needs like water, heating, sewage, and electricity, plus food and clothing, and you should be fine. Culture, build any culture building. Ignoring tourism, I just really like the cinema because it can get a lot of people for the amount of workers in. And why haven't you built this trash bin over here? Is this not a sign? Yeah, I'll show you a trick in a second. Let me just finish that. Then sports hall, similar, just, you know, I like the big sports hall. It has good rating and can get a lot of people in with the amount of workers. And over here also sneaked in a pub. The only thing we're missing is setting an alcohol, and I did forget about that, so that's actually on me. Setting up a line for that and setting this to 80% because for some reason it was a 30, but I do want to have this fuller. Oh, that was the reason why the storage is so empty, because it's only 30%. Oh my god, sometimes I've brain fart. It is bad. But yeah, that should all work now. All the needs are being supplied. The citizens' happiness should go up by a lot. What was this at the beginning? 15, and now it's at 45. I think starting 50, you will be in the green. Right now, we are not, and everything over 50 is not amazing, but for early city, it is fine, because people should stop running away now, because we did have a lot of escapes. Don't look at deaths in the winter. So yeah, research is also doing quite fine while splitting our efforts into teaching. My goal is now that educated people, oh, it's actually going up. That is really good. It going up is nice, because it tends to go down in the early game, because you don't have enough educated people to educate more educated people, especially while researching. So investing a lot into educated people right at the beginning might have not been a stupid thing. I'm also over here preparing now an orphanage, which is a little bit in between satisfying a need and also crime prevention. So that's also a very nice building. I do recommend, if I want to be very, very cynical about this, it operates like a prison, but for children. I don't mean this in a mean sense. I mean, it's literally, you have to supply the goods, people will work there, and it will influence the ideology of the people being brought up in that place. It is kind of prison for children. I'm sorry. That's how it operates in the game. And one thing I do want to show now, because there is apparently no one working here, is an easy way to always get everyone working everywhere. That is this tool over here, where you can have different quick selections. And here we can assign construction offices like this. Then go to assign construction mode. This way we can assign construction offices by drawing a line over things to certain projects. So I see no one is working here. I can do this. Oh, by the way, is this not connected to the road? Oh, that's why no one is working here. This was not connected to... How? Yeah, now they can work here. But yeah, basically this allows you to assign construction offices by drawing a line, or actually here a square. You can barely see while zooming out, but yeah, you can draw like a square, 2 projects while holding the mouse. That is very nice, especially if it's outside the range of the construction offices, which can happen at some point, that this is just not enough. I mean, it's quite the big range, but imagine I would build something over here. They couldn't build it, you know? Then I could just assign it via this, and then they go over. Nothing too important to know, but quality of life game-wise, it could be quite helpful. Railway construction, we also had electricity already, but you see what I mean now, if it takes longer with electricity. But they are about to reach the bridge, so I would say around the time we start building the refinery, this connection should be done, because this research over here is in the final steps, and then we need 2 more researchers, and we should be done. I'm also building a small communist headquarters over here, because this allows us to research the distribution office. And you might think I should build it somewhere else, like over here, so we have 2 different places to educate people from, but that can backfire quite quickly, because then everyone will go into here, because the population doesn't really check where to go, where free space is. No, they just go to the closest education building, in my experience. So if I build it over here, all of these people will go into the small communist HQ instead of the very big technical university. So I rather build it next to it, so it's kind of in between those 2. Hey, the first research is done. Let's immediately go down to research bitumen, bringing us a step closer to what we need. But yeah, looking at this, the happiness has increased greatly. This is 64% now, with all the needs being supplied, even like alcohol and everything. This one is 56, 51, 52. Yeah, it's really going up. This city is now basically self-sustaining. It is able to heat itself, and the only thing we really need to do now is get more and more housing in with a bigger worker pool for our industry. So my main goal for today was basically achieve this point where the city is not collapsing and I just can look away and it will be fine, and also supplying all the basic needs, because now this actually functions as a city. If you have food and if you have a hospital, that is nice, right? Like this will keep people alive, but with stuff like crime fighting, you can see very much it is not enough. You need education, you need happy people, otherwise they do run away. I sadly can't just build a wall around my city and they will stay inside. That strategy doesn't work in this game. There are walls, so I mean, I could build it, it just wouldn't do anything, sadly. So the small communist headquarters is done. I got a few more educated people in the house next to it, and I'm researching logistic optimization now, leading to, scrolling down the tech tree, which has increased with the latest DLC by a lot, to distribution offices, which is quite the important research for us, because it would finally allow us to build those big ones, which I really need. I just noticed this house over here has none of the things applied, so need to extend some of our stuff. So that's sewage built. Bum. Now to water. Bum. That's why I built this pump, by the way, so I have more access points for future water. And electricity, also connected to our substation over here. To double check everything's being built, I can always go over this, like the construction office design tool. I do this a lot. It's like pressing save while editing. Stuff you just get used to be double sure that the stuff is being built. And it kind of shows you what can be built and what can't be yet. What I did just spot is that we have a lot of gravel paths, which you really don't need. So we'll convert those into dirt paths so they can immediately start building on everything. Good. Our money is also slightly going down right now. Some reason this got a bit worse is firstly all of the immigrants I invited, you know, educated workers everywhere in the city, which is, yeah, still going slightly up. And my power station over here burning down. So all of these pumps over here, I don't have electricity. Oil income reduced. I mean, actually we still have buffer, so I guess that's good. But in between I always checked, this never was really full, so we never needed more fuel trucks, but it also never emptied itself, which is kind of interesting to me. So the orphanage is also done. Once again, adding to the distribution office. Competent order over here, and I'm really happy that we have this also now on filling our civilian needs, because those 3 trucks over here would have been overwhelmed by now. Basically, taking in children that would be otherwise alone and influencing them in a way where it helps our regime, but also, I mean, it's not just a bad building, it also gives them a home and frees up a lot of houses that would otherwise be occupied. At least that's what I've been told. So that seems quite worth it, especially the reducing crime part might be very worth it, because these police stations can really fill up over time. And I gotta be honest, I neglected orphanages for a really long time. That could have been the reason, because, yeah, also gotta disable this again because everyone got into the train station. Don't do that. Which, while we wait for this, I could explain one last thing, because I'm like recording 2.5 hours now, so I end this episode very soon. I just want some of this stuff to be finished building. People will go here as workers if they are in a work time period, because they have free time and work time periods, and don't have a job locally, or don't want to go to a job locally. Basically, they can go here and they want to work. Passengers and students, I mean, students are also like workers, but they want to be educated before they can go to work. But passengers are basically people in their free time, and they will go to a train station or a bus station, any transfer station for civilians, if they don't have a need supplied, in hopes of getting it somewhere else. So if you build these stations over here for transferring workers, I would recommend to you just disable all the other stuff, because you will gaslight people into thinking, oh, I can go somewhere else where I can fulfill my need. And if you can't fulfill their need, they will just never go into any bus. Like if I would have a bus from here to here and would not select it to take workers but just passengers, they wouldn't go in. And the main reason is that these workers over here have the need for faith, and I can't support that right now because the church is too far away and it would be very inefficient to run a bus through here. And if you ask yourself, however, hey, I have so many passengers and they will not go into a bus, it's because the bus line doesn't support the need. And I learned it the hard way, but if you had that problem, I hope that helps. It was a really quick guide on bus and transfer and everything. As for my personality, very chaotic, and I try to make it better later in another series. But for this, I hope it gave you like a little bit nudge into the right direction. I think we have reached the end of the episode now, where we have built quite quite a bit of town for next time. 100% we will go into money making because, oh, this is literally, let me speed forward. This is about to be done. And we can research refining, which we will build somewhere here and it will make us good money. Our oil in the background made us over 2 million. Very good. And later on, we can even research in the communist HQ pipeline connections. And then we don't need to do anything with trucks anymore and can just pump everything to the border. That would be the dream, but it will take quite a while to get there. By the way, here's like color coding if you didn't know. White is the medical university, blue is the technical university, and red is the party HQ. And some research goes from one to the other. Like you need concrete, and then you can use concrete to make grand monuments, but then you research in the party building, not the technical. Very fast guide on research. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you can forgive me for a little bit of a slip in population, but we are very much recovering. Look at the education. Oh my god, are really educating people. This is actually really good. Makes me happy to see. We are getting higher educated people. Now, heating doesn't collapse right now, meaning -7, 8, or 9. Yeah, this is, you see, it is on the edge of -10, but it is still working, which makes me happy to know. So we might need another heating plan for the future, but for now, at least for this size of the city, it is still enough. But that's all a problem for future Florius, and I hope he remembers that. Thank you all for enjoying the series, and thank you all for waiting in between. I see you next time.